let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal. Go. Six. It's beautiful. Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
To you. Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along on a Thursday, and it's a busy Thursday, folks. Buckle up. We're gonna go racing today. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Rush Radio Android app or the TuneIn app, thank you so much. A lot of good discussion taking place on YouTube already. If you're brand new to watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like, and of course, you can start leaving your comments in the comments section. You can always find us at therushradio.com, on our social media channels, X, Facebook, and Instagram. And don't forget the phone lines are always open at 515-517-2303. Good morning, Ross Peterson. What's going on?
Not much, buddy. How's your Thursday? Top of the morning to you. Playing on the Dublin thing.
You like that? Iowa State has arrived. I saw a picture of Brent Bloom as he got off the plane in front of the terminal in Dublin, and they look tired. No matter what happens, when you are on a 6 to 7 hour flight, you get off, you don't sleep well, the seats are uncomfortable, you just look tired. And the hard part is you want to go straight to the hotel and go to sleep. And that's the worst thing to do. You need to get off the plane, have a full day, and power through and get a good night's sleep and get well adjusted.
Do you know how many times you've been to Europe?
December will be my 17th time.
Do you remember your first time?
Yes, I do. We flew into Rome. We had no idea what we were doing. We rented cars in Rome. I could do there. We had 17 of us. We rented 4 cars. So we're trying to drive around Rome. This is before you could have maps on your phone, right? You had to rent the Garmin, and you're like, what are we doing?
Just print off the MapQuest directions. Remember that?
That's exactly what we did.
You'd have it stapled and be like, okay, from Dublin to Killarney, this is our turn by turn. But then from Killarney back up to Dublin, we got another set of. All right, I asked that. Remember that first time? Did you have jet lag that first time?
We did, but we'd kind of
not as bad. But not as bad.
Because
Trav, this is what you're forgetting, that most of these people are going over for the very first time. I did not experience that at all. We landed at 7:30 to 7 in the morning, and I was freaking wired. And so I think that because you say this a lot, like, oh man, that jet lag going to hit you. I think that there's something about having the familiarity of where you're landing. You know what I mean? You don't get that adrenaline rush. 17 times that dragon slayed.
But all 17 times, Ross, the jet lag hits me when I return home. It's
really?
Usually not a problem when I go over there. It's when I come home, because I've been fully adjusted to that schedule more so. And I get more tired and jet lagged when I get home than I do when I get there. But it wears off pretty quick, because you're right. Your adrenaline's rushing. You're like, all right, here we go. Yeah. And the thing is, these guys are going to party. Not the team, not the coaches, but there's tailgates to go to. You're going to like, oh, we're in Dublin. Let's have a Guinness. Let's have another Guinness. Let's have another Guinness.
Okay, so let's talk about some of these stupid American misconceptions, because I'm going to be there in October, right? I've never been to Ireland. I saw Williams post the other day. He's like, you know what one of the funny things is around here? All the locals drink Coors Light. He's like, we're all out here.
When I was in Dublin,
we're all out here trying to pound Guinness like it's going out of style, and all the locals drink Coors Light. Jay says, is all the soap in Ireland Irish Spring? Of course it is, Jay. Of course, right? It has to be.
Has to be.
All the beer is Guinness. All the soap is Irish Spring.
I never saw the Coors Light thing. I mean, I spent 4 nights in Dublin, and then we went down to other parts of Ireland. It was still, Guinness was still pretty popular, but there's some other beers there. I mean, it's not like Guinness dominated, but I wouldn't say American beer was the most popular when I was there. And everybody has a different experience.
Have you ever been to Jamaica?
I've never been to Jamaica. Of course, they drink Red Stripe all the time, right?
Oh, it's all they drink, right? Everybody drinks just Red Stripe down in. But no, it turns out that in a kind of a funny connection here, they have Guinness. They have Guinness on the island in Jamaica too, and it is like I remember when I was drinking Guinness in Jamaica, that was like a big deal. They were like, "Oh man, this guy likes Guinness." Yeah.
Of course, Jay says, over in Ireland, everybody eats Lucky Charms for breakfast.
Lunch and dinner.
Yeah. Food's not the best in Ireland. Go with the seafood. But otherwise, I wouldn't say Ireland is a culinary delight.
Even like, the Royal Mile. I wore my Royal Mile shirt yesterday. Bruno's going to be on with us here in a little while, right? The traditional English fare, never been my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The bangers and mash. I'm good on that. But yeah, I'm excited to go. I'm excited. I love seeing everybody's pictures and what they're experiencing.
Yeah, the scenery is top notch. The scenery in Ireland is top notch.
And the game's going to matter. The game's going to matter a lot. It will affect that trip a lot.
Of course, they kick off at 11 o'clock on Saturday. We'll talk a lot more about the game tomorrow. We do have a busy Thursday coming up, coming up at 7 o'clock. Eric Peterson from the Iowa Speedway is going to be joining us. Announced yesterday, NASCAR is coming back to the Iowa Speedway in 2026. That's a big announcement, and it's good for Eric Peterson. So I reached out to him yesterday and said, hey, you want to join us, talk about the race? And he said, absolutely. So Eric Peterson will be joining us. And, of course, Bruno will be joining us at 7:30. I know that Truman's is going to have a tailgate on Saturday for the Iowa State game. So people are going to be looking to congregate, watch the game, party a little bit. Truman's is going to be that location. And so you can have a little bit of fun. Ross, how often do you get a phone? How often do you get a new phone?
I got one, what was about 6 months ago, something like that. But it had been years before that. Why are you asking?
Well, I got a new phone yesterday. I got to wait.
You just held one up. It didn't look like a brand new one. Was that an old phone you just held up?
So, no, this isn't a brand. So this is a Google 6 Pro. So this is 4 years old, okay?
Okay.
Well, the Google 10 is coming out, and I got the email yesterday. If you pre-order, you get like $150 off, and then I can do the trade-in. So, and this thing's getting old. The older the phone gets, the less value it is. And they're going to give me like $350 for the phone. So I broke down and said, it's 4 years old. It's filling up on space. I haven't had any problems with it, knock on wood. And so I went ahead and bit the bullet and pre-ordered a phone. So now I got to wait for it to get delivered. I buy it online. I don't like going to the phone store because I don't like dealing with salespeople. So Google makes it pretty easy.
We're so different. I like having something in my hand. I don't trust the buying online thing. I know that sounds like I'm 75 years old and a fuddy-duddy and what's email. I know how that sounds. I prefer, first of all, I really do prefer locally owned and operated. You know what I mean? If I can buy it from a local shop, I want to do that. But a phone, the local Apple store. Support local. Go to Apple.
I used to be just like that. This phone I bought online through Google, and the whole transfer process was easy. It was seamless. I had a really good experience. So, I'm just going to keep it. But phones are one of those things where it's just it's an investment. They're more than laptop computers anymore. I got my laptop, I think, cheaper than I got my phone. My phone was over $1,000.
Greg has a fun day today. One of our listeners, Greg, put this on the comment section. Golfing today at blank after releasing trapped raccoons.
Ooh.
That will make golf really interesting.
Are you going to release them on the course?
I think that's part of the experience. The way he explains that. Golf today at blank, after releasing trapped raccoons.
Well, hopefully you hired Corey from Bats and Bugs to trap said raccoons, and Corey will pick up the traps, and then go release them. So doesn't fall on you.
The right way to do it is to release it as far away from the clubhouse as possible. That way, it gives the raccoon as much time to scare as many golfers as it possibly can.
Now, raccoons are nocturnal, right? I mean, if it's going to be daylight, they're going to go find someplace to sleep because they like to hang out at night. They're like trash pandas. They do their damage at night. I don't see many coons during the day.
I think if you do, that's a problem. I think
little rabbit.
You know who knows? Corey from Bats and Bugs.
Corey from Bats and Bugs.
Any raccoon questions? Call Corey.
Because I remember a couple of years ago, I remember Greta, when she was doing her homeschooling thing, called me. She goes, "Dad." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "There's a coon trying to get in my window." Because the coon had the mom, her babies there, and she was tucked up against the house. Of course, she's ripping away my siding, which I still haven't fixed, as Owen reminds me on a daily basis. "Dad, are you ever going to fix that siding?" No. I got other things to take care of first. But so I rush home. I'm like, how do I get these coons off the roof? So I start throwing baseballs at it.
Oh, that'll do it. That'll do it.
No, it didn't do it.
He didn't start playing. I thought he'd start playing catch with you and come down into the yard for more companionship. Isn't that what you're hoping for? What did you think? Did you think you were going to hit the raccoon with a baseball and he would go, "Ow! Oh, sorry."
Yes, I did. Thank you for pointing that out in my stupidity. That's exactly what I thought. I thought if I hit him hard enough, I throw this ball hard enough,
he'll understand that this is my house.
Yeah. Do you know what worked? You know what got the coon off my I got the hose out and I just sprayed it with water. Coons don't like the water.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Because I went to the Google machine. How do I get rid of coons that are on my roof? Get the hose out and just douse it with water.
I threw baseballs at it.
I know. It's like, can I just have it? And then you're like, you miss because you think you have incredible accuracy. Yeah. You think you have incredible accuracy. Like, I'm in the pitching machine. I'm going to throw a strike every time. Boom, right against it. There's a hole in the siding. Boom, there's a hole in the siding. And it takes like 5 times before you realize, oh, I'm doing more damage to the house than I am the coon.
That's amazing. Hey, this is really cool. I don't want to let this go before we share this one. Brian Parks, one of our listeners, sent this. Got good news yesterday. Cancer is gone. Brian, congratulations, man. Very, very cool.
That's good news.
I am with Kirk. This gives me visions of John Candy in the great outdoors. Big bear, chase me.
And the sad thing is my daughter's watching this and just laughing because she knows here at the time she was like 10 years old just going, yeah, this ain't working. Well, you're the one who called me, all right? You're the one who called me. At least I tried.
I want to do a 30-second from the raccoon's point of view. He sits up. Shoo, poof. Hell,
you know what the raccoon did? It did set up, and it was like taunting me like it was on the dunk tank.
Yeah, Bobo the clown.
Come on, man. Taking a drag off its cigarette. Is that the best you got? Son of a bitch.
Hey, little girl, you gonna throw again? Don't talk to my daughter that way. I'm not talking to your daughter.
Oh, this is how vulnerable I am. I share how stupid I am sometimes.
I love it. That's awesome, dude. I'll share my stupidity. I was younger, and there aren't many stories of this where I let my anger get like way out of control. I did the same thing one time inside a house to my brother.
Inside a house.
Inside the house. Now, Again, man, I had a dad that was really good at teaching lessons. I learned how to patch drywall. But yeah, my brother, he came into my bedroom one day and was annoying me because that's what big brothers do, right?
Yeah.
And to the point where now we're going to fight. And I think we started fighting in my bedroom, and he's obviously kicking my ass. He runs out of the bedroom. He runs down the stairs and turns the corner into his room. So I'm at the top of the stairs. He's at the bottom of the stairs. And I had this drawer of baseballs right by my nightstand was right by my bedroom door. So I opened that up and I cocked back and was ready.
And he's looking at you.
And he poked his head out from the side of the door, and I chucked one down the stairs. And just like that raccoon, just like Bobo the Clown. And I remember the ball sticking in the wall. I'm like, oh, but I armed up again because I knew I knew the game. He's going to continue to taunt me. I'm going to peg him. I didn't peg him. I put 3 holes in the wall. And then Dad got home and I had to explain that to Dad. And that was where he taught me how to patch drywall.
Just put the little netting over it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. Was he mad at you? Was your dad mad at you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like this, that's the dumbest thing. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
Did you try to replace blame, though, and go, it was Brad's fault?
It's always Brad. Dude, you know how good I am at that?
Yes.
That's my game right there. That's my game.
Yeah, because I was re-listening, and it is your game, because I was re-listening to yesterday's show, and when the sister comment came up, and when you said, is she hot? And then you go, I just said
that's
that
what you would say. I was just channeling you. That's not me.
No, but here's the deal. And I was actually listening, and I started laughing because I'm like, okay, even though you tried to channel me, if I say it, it's expected from everybody, right? It's like, oh, there goes Trav. When you said it, it was like, I knew what you were doing, but it came off weird. And I'm just laughing in my car.
I love it.
That's what you would say, Trav. All right. Imagine you go to Agency Iowa up there in Ankeny, right?
Okay.
Imagine you're working on some paperwork. You're sitting in your office up there. Are you on the first floor or are you on the second floor?
We have we don't really have offices. It's kind of an open space. So normally I would be up on the second floor if I'm working on something.
Say you're there at like midnight. Say, you know what, I'm gonna go get some work done. I'm gonna get some work done at midnight. And you're just sitting there, Ross, and then poosh, bang, bullet flies through the window and just hits the wall 15 feet away from you. That happened to Kansas City coach Andy Reid. It was reported by the Kansas City Star last night that Andy Reid, in May of 2024, was in his office after midnight, just getting work done. And it shows you the coach's mindset, right? It's May. It's 2024. It's May, and he's in his office at midnight. Football never stops. You're just sitting there probably going over offensive plays, trying to say, you know, what this roster is going to look like. Freaking bullet flies through the window, breaks the glass, hits the wall 15 feet away from him. 3 bullets were fired at the Chiefs complex that night. No arrests have been made.
Wow. This is in May of 24?
24, and it's just coming out now.
Wow.
So a year and 3 months ago.
Cow.
They've replaced all his windows with bulletproof glass.
This is insane.
It is. Credit the Chiefs and credit Andy Reid for just keeping it quiet, right? I mean, because that's not an easy thing to do. Who do you call at that point? Do you call Clark Hunt and go, hey, somebody just fired shots into my window? Do you call 911? Do you call
guess
Chief
your first
Security?
call is probably 911. I'm guessing your first call at that moment is 911. And then yeah, a boss, an owner, you're right, in that line is somewhere in the security guard in the building. Dude, I'm shocked by a couple things. First of all, people know which office is Andy Reid's, or maybe it was just there was a light on and they decided to shoot at a window?
Random. I think after the investigation, I think they're starting to think it was just kind of this random. You know how people do stupid stuff. Let's go fire a gun. That's what they think, because no arrests have been made. Probably not going to find anybody. One hit an air conditioning unit. One hit his window that went through the window and hit set wall 15 feet from him.
Holy cow.
And then there was another stray bullet. That I wouldn't say
random. Just some guy in Kansas City started firing at windows at midnight, and one of them was Andy Reid's office.
A little weird. You think it?
I'm not saying it's like a hit. I don't mean it like that. I just mean that I didn't. Again, I just feel like President Trump. Just learning about this for the first time right now. You're telling me about this for the first time. See, I don't know.
If that was my office, it wouldn't be, hey, let's put bulletproof glass in. It's like, can I get a different office with no windows?
Exactly. That's what my thought would be. But, man, do you want an office with no windows?
No.
They've replaced a football coach's office windows with bulletproof glass. Now, my question, I guess, is if it was random, why do that?
That's a good point. In case it ever happens again, I don't know.
In case in a city the size of Kansas City, some random dude decides to shoot at a random building again, and it happens to be that exact office again. Yeah, we need bulletproof glass. It seems weird, and I'm with Taylor. I'm not saying it was a hit. It'd be the world's worst hit, man, if he missed by 15 feet. Also, I've told you my Secret Service story before, right? No, dude. One of the most steely-eyed, cold-blooded killer moments I've ever experienced. Michelson is interviewing some member of the cabinet down at the fair. Might have been, and it would make sense if it was like Vilsack, that was the Secretary of Ag or something like that. Okay, but they're assigned a Secret Service detail when they're in public like that. One dude, one badass dude. Okay, so he comes in with Tom Vilsack. We're at the fair. There's all sorts of fun stuff happening. And at the same time that Tom Vilsack comes in, a guy brings in one of those giant cinnamon rolls, like head-sized cinnamon rolls. And Jan says, hey, Governor Vilsack, do you want to share this with me? Do you want a piece of this? He's like, yeah, no problem. And well, let me hold on. Before they start the interview, this Secret Service guy says, before I step out of the room, does anybody have any weapons? And Jan says, I do have a pocket knife in my pocket. And the guy says, just to be safe, why don't you give that to me? So Jan, swear to God, Jan takes his pocket knife out, hands it to the guy, and then the guy steps out into the other room while the interview happens. It's just Jan and Governor Vilsack in the little crystal studio thing. So now, interview gets over, guy comes back in, hands Jan his knife. Now the cinnamon roll comes into the room. Jan says, you want to share this? Governor Vilsack says, yeah. Jan pulls his knife out, extends the blade from the knife, reaches over to cut the cinnamon roll. And he looks at the Secret Service guy and he's like, wait a minute. You didn't want me to have this knife in my pocket when you were way out there, but now I've got the blade open and I'm like 8 inches from him. What's going on here? And without missing a beat or blinking an eye, this guy says to Jan, yeah, I don't like to shoot through glass.
I should laugh at that.
No, dude, it was a moment of like, oh, you're planning how to kill everybody. You're 9 steps ahead of everyone in this room. Got it. No, I didn't want to have to kill you through glass, and I don't mind blowing your brains out here, but we were like, okay, cut the cinnamon roll.
What's Governor Vilsack saying during this? Because he was Secretary of Ag at this point, right? Because
he'd heard
that's
it.
Why he's got 6.
He didn't blink. He knew who that dude was. It's like, damn. I don't like to shoot through glass. So you're right. A hitman, it wouldn't have been a hitman. But I guess my question, though, is why replace it with bulletproof glass if they're saying, totally random?
Well, you're going to have to replace the glass anyway because it was just blown out.
So might as well make it the most expensive glass on the planet? That's how businesses work.
After you're done peeing your pants, do you just get all your work and say, I think it's time to go home now? I think it's time to go home.
Yeah. Say, S. Williams is like, so Jan shared food with Vilsack? Damn. Dude, I'm telling you, it was a different world. It was a different world. Yeah. Yeah. I got to know Akeo Abdul Samad. I got to know Rekha Basu. I got to know the Connie Bozen, who is a friend of mine. Those people would absolutely come in, and Jan would treat them with respect, and they treated Jan with respect. They'd disagree, and then they'd get done, and they'd laugh and shake hands, and the person would say, when can I come back and do that again, Jan?
Yeah, I don't mind being asked tough questions.
No.
And even in today's overly politicized world, I think you'd be surprised how behind the scenes people probably get along more than most people think. It's just all become political theater now, to where everybody's got to not like each other. But I mean, one of my favorite videos to watch is when Antonin Scalia and who's the Supreme Court Justice, what's her name, passed away, very popular.
Oh, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Ruth Bader. I mean, they were like buddies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, you can be completely different than somebody philosophically and still get along with somebody and disagree.
James Carville, and Mary Matlin.
Yeah. Where's she at? She's kind of disappeared. 515-517-2303. We're here till 8 o'clock today. Again, Eric Peterson from the Iowa Speedway going to be joining us at 7 o'clock as NASCAR returns to the Iowa Speedway in 2026. And Bruno will be stopping by the studio right around 7:30, talk about what's coming up at the full court press establishments this weekend. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
The Royal Mile, where everyone's a wee bit British. The Royal Mile is downtown Des Moines' living room with classic pub favourites. Pair them with a glass of whiskey or an expertly poured Guinness. It's bloody brilliant. The Royal Mile, a proper British pub.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
The heat of summer is here. Have you had your vehicle safety inspected lately? With any service at Willis Chevy, we include a free multi-point inspection along with a video multi-point inspection. Our GM certified technicians will check your fluids, tires, suspension, brakes, and everything else underneath your vehicle. Come see us today for your inspection to make sure your vehicle is ready for that road trip or ready for the kids to go back to school. Schedule online today at willischevy.com.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Pump it up with Unleaded 88. It's cheaper, it's cleaner, it's greener. It's a great fuel choice, making it a clear winner at the pump. So pump it up with Unleaded 88. Go to iowacorn.org. Ross, you might see that I'm wearing my black and gold Rush shirt today.
Like it.
Yeah, I got two of them. I thought this was going to be more of a gray. It's probably closer to a purple. I still don't mind it. Looks pretty good. But you can, if you want some Rush Radio merch, if you want some black and gold Rush merch, and coming soon will be the Rostivators shirt, which will say, I'm a morning Rostivator. That's coming. I sent an email to my graphic artist yesterday. I said, yes, this is innuendo. Have fun with it. But it's I'm a morning Rostivator, and that shirt will be coming very, very soon. The reason I bring this up is I let Melissa yesterday from Can Play know that we're going to be sending her a check. Told her how much it was going to be for, and they're going to buy soft grip footballs with the first donation for their adaptive programs.
Dude.
So the reason I bring that up is every time you purchase, whether it's a Rush Radio mug, a Rush Radio shirt, or sweatshirt, 15% of those profits go to Can Play Iowa. And, you know, it's at the end of the month, it's going to depend, but we're able to purchase soft grip footballs for the adaptive programs at Can Play. It's not us,
awesome.
It's you, everybody who's making the purchases. So we very much appreciate
so cool.
515-517-2303. I always love it when the call screener says, you know, they ask you to put your name in. You just put it in. I'm the mayor of Iowa Speedway. Mayor of Iowa Speedway. Who's this?
It's Mazer.
Hey, Mazer.
Mazer!
How the hell does it say mayor of Iowa Speedway?
I don't know. This is
because he said Mazer and Iowa Speedway was what he tried to say, and so it's like an automated.
It's AI. Trying to read your voice.
God damn! I need to enunciate more, or that thing needs a reprogramming. But anyhow, good morning, gentlemen, and Travis.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations on becoming a grandfather.
Thank you.
It's been a couple of times, but the first time I've tuned in all week, I hear about a hitman being on here, and gee, cripes, that's interesting. I figure, you know, when I go out to restaurants, I'm trying to figure out where the nearest bathroom is, not how I'm going to kill everybody.
Yeah. It's on brand. It's on brand. You tune in, you hear about Hitman news. It's what we do here, Mazer. What do you think about this news with the Iowa Speedway, man? Go ahead. Sorry.
So one of the hard-hitting questions I don't know if he can or can't answer is, so the Iowa Speedway hosted the IndyCar Series this year, and it bombed, per se. So with NASCAR owning the track, Mr. Peterson is a very nice man. I've met him. But, like, where do his job description end and start with bringing in other race series with NASCAR being the boss because they don't want them to run up against them, per se, NASCAR. So, like, and then what does he do in the off months to promote the track, and where are his hands strapped to bring in other stuff to help the track out.
Well, we'll ask him that, Mazer. I think one of the thing is, I think if you were to go to Las Vegas, if you go to Kansas City, if you go to a lot of these tracks, they're not used year round. I mean, they're kind of these one event type things, and they're not used a lot. I was pretty darn lucky that it gets an IndyCar race and it gets a NASCAR race. The IndyCar thing kind of surprised me this year. It really, really did. And do you think it's because they didn't have the big concerts? That's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money to throw out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think by the time, I don't know if when tickets were released and then Hy-Vee backed out, if they couldn't lower the ticket price and then they had to worry about refunds, people who had already bought in tickets, or what happened in that. But, to only have 4 months after to drop the sponsorship title to hand it over was kind of a quick turnaround. It felt like the ball was really dropped, and it stinks that it happened because usually the IndyCar race does pretty good for the fan turnout.
I go back and forth on the concert thing, Mazer, because initially my gut is telling me that it's just the low hanging fruit and like the easy excuse of why people, because that was the biggest change from the previous year, right? Was they didn't have this big concert event around it. Do you think that that's what was the missing element this year?
I think it changed the larger percentage of what made people want to go to the race. Even before the concerts happened, in years past, the IndyCar race had a pretty good fan turnout. And then for 3 years in a row, I think it was, I can't remember, they had these great big concerts and everything turned out. But then you flip the script and then the number goes back down, plus you subtract the people you kind of alienated. And this is what happens.
This is good. This is good. And we're getting some good stuff in. Yeah.
And do you think there was a problem that the IndyCar race and the NASCAR race were so close together? I mean, if you would have had the IndyCar race, let's say in May and not July, and 2 or 3 weeks later you have the NASCAR race, that's now it's completely different circuits, probably completely different fan bases, but it's still an investment. You're still, I don't know if that helps or hurts.
I mean, I can honestly say it would be nice to have the IndyCar weekend when they do come back, if earlier in the summer, so it's not so damn hot. Because you saw, there was a tornado right within eye shot of the track, and it'd be nice to have a race without severe weather impacting, which it can happen anytime, but the IndyCar race always seems to be doomed by it.
Yeah, and the 2 race thing I didn't quite understand. I didn't understand the back-to-back IndyCar races. That didn't make sense to me.
That seems like that always kind of bombs, because they've tried it in Detroit and a couple other, but like Detroit would have a greater turnout because it's a street course, so they can spread the fans out, so they draw more. But when you put a doubleheader on a small market and you split the fans over 2 days, why not just get us in there in one day? It's a great thing to say, oh, we're having a doubleheader. You're splitting the fans over 2 days because we're just going to pick one day to go.
Yeah. I mean, you're passionate about this. Did you go to the NASCAR race too? Or did you?
Oh, yeah, I was there the whole weekend, and it was great. I feel like the fans did a really good job spacing out Thursday night or Friday night when the ARCA race, filling up the stands, and then gradually leading up to the sellout crowd. And incidentally, I was only a couple sections down, like rows down from Ross that day too.
And you didn't say hi to him?
But
dude, it's hard.
I know.
Hell, dude, I didn't even know he was there. And cell service there sucked so damn bad anyway. It was the worst.
Well, we'll bring that up with Eric. We need more cell boosting.
Well, it used to be when U.S. Cellular had a race over there, U.S. Cellular would bring in like their mobile command center and boost the signal. But, I try to send a text and I just got the spinning wheel. And then all of a sudden you get back to your car and all of a sudden everything sends out and you're barraging everybody.
All right, buddy. Hey, it's always good to hear from you. Don't be a stranger, all right? We like hearing from you.
Yeah, I won't be. And I might have to buy a roster baiter shirt. Jesus Christ, Ross. That's really on the nose, but
That's really on the nose.
And it's Ross Debater. I didn't go Ross Debater. I went ROSSDEBATER.
Because you wanted the double entendre of debating.
Yes.
But I mean, it really is supposed to be TER.
I know. But it sounds the same either way you do it.
It does. Mazer, good to hear from you, buddy. Thanks. Great stuff on that. I do think this is one of those situations. Thanks, buddy. That it's a soup. There's a lot of I almost said chemicals. There's a lot of ingredients that go into what has happened, what makes things successful, and then they're not successful. I think that Mazer hit on a bunch of those key ingredients. And several of our listeners, I don't want to just give the credit to Mazer, because several of our listeners wrote in and said, having these things so close to each other was what hurt me. I think, Travis, there is a point to like how much I would love to know that Venn diagram of fans. How much crossover is there between NASCAR and F1?
I think we can ask Eric that, because
they probably know.
Because I'm sure they have, because you usually got to sign up with email, or you get your tickets that way. They're going to know if there's much crossover there or not. But it was embarrassing to watch the Indy race on TV and see absolutely nobody there. You're like, ooh. The big question is, does IndyCar come back?
Maybe Eric can give us some insight on that too. Good stuff. I mean, because a lot of people were weighing in and saying these were reasons. And the concert, I do think I don't even know what the concerts. I think that's the low-hanging fruit. It's the easiest thing for us to look at and go, oh, they didn't have Carrie Underwood here this year. Well, that's why people didn't show up. I think it might have had that back-to-back with the NASCAR might have been part of it. We'll see. Talk to Eric, and I guarantee you they're trying to figure it out. But today, this is the other important thing about our conversation with Eric. I should say this.
It's about NASCAR coming.
Today should be a fun conversation about, hey, congratulations. This is huge. Awesome thing for Central Iowa. And I know Mazer's looking at the health of the track and the health of his favorite sport in his state. So that's why he's like, man, I love the NASCAR thing. Can we address the IndyCar problem? Today, we'll probably focus on the NASCAR thing for a while and continue this relationship with Eric so we can ask him down the road. When we find out about IndyCar would be the time to ask about that.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem just because he does run the track, so there's got to be some crossover there.
Great question about where does the NASCAR affiliation end? Because I'd never even thought about that. That's a great point about NASCAR writes your check.
But they want you to make that track profitable.
You run a venue. Interesting question. All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Mazer. Thanks, buddy.
So again, Eric Peterson joining us at 7 o'clock. Again, big news for the Iowa Speedway as NASCAR returns in 2026. Caitlin Clark is still not back in uniform. And Ross, we found out yesterday, the Indiana Fever have not addressed it, but the Indianapolis Star reported, she's got a different injury now. She's got a bruised bone on her left ankle. They're not confirming it. They're not denying it. They're saying, hey, we've spoken about when her timetable is, but the Indianapolis Star has reported that during workouts, trying to get back in shape and everything, bruised a bone on her left ankle, which would even slow it down even more. I've never had a bruised bone before.
Dr. Sullivan to the send up the bat signal so we can get some answers on this.
I didn't know you could bruise a bone.
Yeah, I've heard of that before, but I don't.
I mean, that sounds painful.
I said it in May. If there's a big injury, they won't tell us. If there's something major, if there's something that's going to keep her out for a long period of time, they're not, because they see the writing on the wall. And they know if they say, hey, Caitlin Clark's not going to play for 3 months, click. Everybody's going to go, all right, I'll see you in 3 months then. So they've got to continue this thing of like, if we could just get that soft tissue injury better. What's your status? Day to day. The old Vin Scully line. Aren't we all? If there's something major wrong, they're not going to tell us. They're not going to come out and say, hey, everybody, we got to shut her down for the year. because they know that that people will shut it off. Even because Travis, they've got a lot of us hanging around. They got a lot of people that are still hanging around. And if they say, hey, the reason that you all tuned in is not going to be around for a long time, people will tune out.
55% WNBA ratings are down since Caitlin Clark's injury.
And if they had said initially, hey, she's not going to play until August, they'd have been down 70%. So they were smart to do the thing where they said, maybe next week. Hey, keep buying your tickets. Indiana Fever going to be in Chicago this date. Get your tickets. When they probably knew all along. Because she hasn't even been out. Like, when was the last time you saw anything in public with Caitlin?
It's been a while. She'll comment on some teammates. She commented on Sophie Cunningham's injury, but that's not being out in public.
No. I hope everything's all right. I hope, dude, it's been such a fun, amazing ride. I'm driving in rural Iowa yesterday. I'm driving through rural Iowa. I come up over the top of this hill in the middle of farm fields, and there's a mailbox with an Indiana Fever flag hanging on it. And I drove past it. I'm like, man, 5 years ago, if you'd seen that, you would have said, oh, their daughter must play for the Indiana Fever. I'm not kidding.
I'm with you.
You just said, well, that's got to be one of 3,000 people in the world, maybe less than that love and WNBA team so much that they bought a flag for it and fly it on their mailbox in rural Iowa. That's got to be, their daughter must be on the team. Now you look at that and you go, oh yeah, that's common. I mean, when I said that, most people were probably like, oh, I've seen those. It's amazing what has happened with this. So I want it to continue. I want her to be able to turn this thing into this incredible industry that runs for a decade. That'd be really cool.
And it's got to be this, and it is a national phenomenon. It is not an Iowa phenomenon because the ratings are down. Paige Beckers had 44 points last night. If that would have been Caitlin Clark,
oh, dude, it would blown up. Yeah, right. It would have blown everything up. This is that old conversation that we've had about her. Like, is she actually that much better than all the other women? No. Well, then why do we all pay attention so much? It's that X factor. We don't know. We don't know.
I hate this term. You hear it all the time in marketing. It's the secret sauce.
It is.
What's the secret sauce? I don't know what the secret sauce is.
I don't either. But I've paid attention long enough to know this. It wears off. It wears off pretty quickly. Pretty quickly, that secret sauce wears off. That was not Arlo barking. That was Kirby. Sorry.
Yeah, my dog sleeps. And we put him away. He's with Anjanette with the door shut. And he's out like a light.
Jeremy hits this on the head. 5 years ago, I'm in this boat. I would have had to Google what the Indiana Fever was. We could have played MLS or WNBA team, right? And you could have rattled off. I wouldn't have known.
I think we did that on the old show. I think we did that on the old show.
Probably did. Is this a minor league hockey team or is this a WNBA team? You could have done that. You can't do that anymore.
How ironic this all happens as the collective bargaining agreement is coming up. They're in negotiation, and you can now show, hey, I know y'all want more money, and we want to pay you more money, but see what happens when the star is not there? You don't get to command all that.
You can command all of it. You're going to sink the ship. We have municipalities that are going broke, but we have city managers making $500,000 a year. And it's just like the college football thing. People look around and go, we got no money. We got no money. Friday comes, you start cutting checks for $72,000 to your employees. We have no money. Here's your money. We have no money. Here's
Ross,
your
you
millions.
don't understand how tough of a job being a city manager is.
You're right. You're right.
You don't understand.
You're right. I don't even understand what they do, but I know they make a hell of a lot of money. I don't understand why a public school district needs to have 700 people that don't work in schools.
I would agree with you on that.
I don't get
understand.
I don't understand it. You're nailing it.
The level of bureaucracy that is needed to run such a large
That old
organization.
adage. We got to spend the money so that next year we can increase our budget. Dude, it always cracks me up when you hear people that like this thing with the where my brain is because of this union conversation with the WNBA. You're overplaying your hand. Pay us what we're worth. I got bad news, man. People get paid what they're worth. You might not like to hear that. You get paid what you're worth. But
that's probably why you like real estate, because you get paid what you're worth. You determine what you get paid.
Yes, exactly right. Love it.
Well, I will disagree with that to an extent. This is selfish now. We were not paid what we were worth at iHeartRadio.
I mean,
we were.
You're right.
We're learning that.
You're right. That's a good point. Push back on that all you want. But man, instead of enjoying the ride, we said it over and over. Like, man, look what happened with good Tiger Woods and golf. You had people that stood in the way. You had people that pushed back on it. You had the fuzzy Zellers, and was it Paul Azinger or somebody like that had the comment of like, "You'll learn. You really think you're going to compete here? You'll learn." We had the Gino Ariemas. Tried to scold us all for believing that something special was happening. The gatekeepers.
Because, like a lot, and people fall into this. We're guilty of it in some ways. People looked at it from a competition, are you the best player? They didn't understand the X factor what you just brought up. They didn't understand the marketing phenomenon that was unfolding.
I don't think you can, man. It's hard to understand it.
That's just one of those things that's purely organic. It was not forced. It just, for some reason, boom, it clicks. Now, you're seeing, though, when you're away, when you're not playing, sure, you've grown the audience, but it's not what it was.
Is this number correct, Travis? Bus wrote this in. Fever games minus Caitlin Clark account for 24% of WNBA attendance.
I don't know if that's true or not. That could be very accurate. I'm not gonna push back on them on it. Funny thing about numbers, though, you can spin them any way you want. Right? Like you can say WNBA TV ratings are down 55% without Caitlin Clark. Okay, that's shocking. But you can turn around and say, but compare it to 3 years ago, it's still up like 120%. So it's still a win for the WNBA.
Don't think that number is quite accurate. And I just did some quick Google searching here. This article was posted a couple of days ago. WNBA has set a regular season attendance record, reaching the 2.4 million mark. Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever are the current attendance leaders with over 300,000 fans. But I guess what he was saying was the Fever are... you'd have to include the Fever's away games in that total.
We do know this from Charlie. Roster baiting is up 300% over the last 2 days. And I'm going to tease you a little bit. Besides the roster baiting shirts, we got another little play off the roster baiting that we're going to release either tomorrow or Monday that you'll be able to roster bait for about 3 months with.
I'm glad I told you about my fantasy baseball prowess.
So am I. I'm ecstatic that you told me about your fantasy baseball team.
The other one we had, So for a long time, our buddy Marv Emery was in our league, and Marv was for many years the only black guy that we had in our league, right? And then one year Marv was like, "Hey, I can't do the fantasy football thing this year," and my buddy Scott and I ended up taking over Marv's team, but that left us with no black dudes in the league.
Okay,
so we changed our team name to Not Marv. So we were Not Marv for many years. And then we finally were cool enough. We got another black dude back in.
So you weren't you weren't exclusive at that point.
Yeah. We were like 19.
You guys were like Augusta.
We were. I just gonna say
you were like Augusta National. Is that what I'm hearing?
We said we're gonna need that green jacket back. You thought you won that? No. You got the opportunity to borrow it.
Oh. Hey, before we wrap up this first hour, of course, the SEC has announced that when you rush the field after a football game or rush the court, you're going to get hit with a $500,000 fine right off the bat. Arkansas has found a way around that, Ross. Arkansas has officially approved field storming, but what they're going to do is they're going to put as soon as the game is over, put a 3-minute countdown on the video boards and ask everybody to hold back for 3 minutes so the visiting team and the coaches and staff have plenty of time to get off the field. And after 3 minutes, they're going to open up the field for fans to storm. After a 3-minute wait, doesn't the field storm just like, what are we doing here? Well, do we have to wait?
This is what I've always said. Because whenever you've talked about the field storming things, I've tried to tell you there's no formula for it. It's an instinctual thing. It all has to. There's several different factors that can happen, but there's no real formula for this requires a field storming. It's not like, oh, we beat a top 5 team or 10 team or a team that was ranked so far ahead of us. There's something about the emotion of the moment that overtakes people, a crowd of people. Yeah, 3 minutes is about how long a field storming lasts.
So you get out there and go, okay.
Exactly. Now, clearing the field takes another 20 minutes. But the adrenaline of it, that fun. Travis, imagine so put yourself in your living room. You're watching a game. It ends in some dramatic thing. The people storm the field, right? How long do Kirk Herbstreit and Fowler sit there quietly? They'll do that. They'll be quiet for a moment.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. They'll let the crowd tell the story. You'll hear the crowd. You'll see the people jumping up and down, carrying their kids out on, 30 seconds. 3-minute countdown.
Countdown to field rush. 10.
9.
Rush
8. And everybody's standing at like it's a rope drop. And then but now the field's empty because in those last 15 seconds, the coaches are racing to get their guys off the field.
515-517-2303. We'll take a break, come back. Eric Peterson from the Iowa Speedway getting ready to join us and talk about NASCAR coming back to Iowa Speedway in 2026. It's the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
You've got enough on your plate, so when it's time to reset, grab a Fresca. Bold citrus, 0 sugar, 0 caffeine. Just clean, crisp refreshment that never goes out of style, whether it's post-work, post-gym, or just a break from the noise. Fresca's got your back. Pick up a Fresca at your local retailer today.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
At Midwest Landscapes and Hardscapes, we know that the only way to do business is the fair way. That means honest quotes, no surprises, and work that speaks for itself. From the first sketch to the final sweep, we keep you in the loop because communication builds trust, and trust builds beautiful spaces. Midwest Landscapes and Hardscapes. Fair, skilled, thorough. Just the way it should be.
Cars basically do three things. They go, they stop, and they turn. If any of those aren't working right, bring your Infiniti into Willis Infiniti and you'll get $50 off per axle brakes to help it stop, and you'll get $25 off an alignment to help it turn. Then you can go with peace of mind. Give us a call or visit us online at willisinfinity.com to schedule your appointment today.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on therushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Thanks for tuning in on a Thursday. It's been really, really busy. Got a lot of people to talk to in hour number 2. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, on the Rush Radio Android app or the TuneIn app, thank you. Watching on YouTube this morning, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like. Start leaving your comments. And, of course, you can follow us on social media at Rush Mornings on X, The Rush with Travis and Ross on Facebook, and The Rush Radio Show on Instagram. Before we get to our interview, I do want to point out that I'm starting my day off with a refreshing Fresca from Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling. Helping me get started this morning. I've got the Core Power in the fridge that I'll have for breakfast afterwards. So whether you're looking for a Fresca, whether you're looking for a Coca-Cola, whether you're looking for a Core Power, Body Armor, Celsius, Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling.
I tell you, the Fresca, the grapefruit Fresca it's like refreshing.
It is.
It really, I'm thirsty at night. There's no sugar. There's no caffeine. Big fan of the grapefruit Fresca. Didn't that one surprise me?
I feel old because I was drinking Fresco like I was 10. Of course, we started the show by talking about NASCAR coming back to the Iowa Speedway in 2026. No better person to talk to that. We're becoming like friends. Eric Peterson, we're like friends now. This is your third appearance in like the last month on the show. I just feel like you have like the keys to the studio now.
Yeah, I was telling my wife that. I was like, I'm kind of a weekly regular now. I love it, guys. And by the way, I love the you're like a NASCAR driver. You got the Fresca, the sponsor plug. It was well executed. It's perfect. From a guy that works in the industry, well done.
So are you always at the office at 7 a.m.? Did you tell your wife, I got to go do this interview, so I'm going to get dressed and go in early?
Yep. So I went in a little bit early today. So left the kids at home with her to handle, which I'm really appreciative of. But it's great to be back on the show. Thank you, guys.
Yesterday, obviously, a very big day, but let's go back to kind of the beginning, and maybe you can peel back the curtain a little bit and tell us about the timeline of how this all works. Because obviously, you don't get a phone call yesterday that says, hey, congratulations, you got the race. So can you kind of take us back and peel back the curtain a bit?
Yeah, so this is the earliest I've seen the NASCAR schedule released in a really long time, which is great. So, and particularly with all the new additions that are happening in 2026. So The conversation starts really June-ish and July. It picked up really heavily for us over race weekend just a couple weeks ago. So, you guys saw the additions with the San Diego race, which is great. Chicagoland is back, so some new racing that's occurring. That conversation picking up speed on race weekend just amplified over the past 2 weeks, and really it was the beginning of this week that it was solidified. So for us, it's conversations with Iowa Corn, it's conversations with all of our partners, just understanding, hey, making sure that this works for the state of Iowa. And I think it kind of goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway, but like having a late summer, early fall is perfect for the state of Iowa. It really is perfect. Yeah. So a lot of farmers are coming out to the race. Obviously, Iowa Corn's involvement. We want to make sure that works for their folks.
All right. So is this the situation where you've got a conversation going with Iowa Corn consistently saying, hey, if we get this NASCAR phone call, we're going to need you guys. We'd like for you to be on board. Or is that a situation where you wait until you get the confirmation from NASCAR before you start seeking out those sponsors?
So Iowa Corn has made a commitment to us for a multi-year agreement, which was fantastic going into 2025.
Oh no!
Actually, so
your internet's breaking up, Eric.
Breaking up, Eric.
Breaking up.
I was afraid it was me.
But at the same time, there's really kind of contingent on and make that phone call, making sure everything.
Oh, you're okay, Eric.
Yeah, I got you,
buddy. We got you. Yeah.
So yeah, making sure. Hopefully, you got me now. But it's really a combination of things that really culminated for this schedule now. So it's conversations with them leading into race weekend and just making sure everything.
Eric, your internet's breaking up. Can I ask you? Can you do me a favor? I don't know if you can hear me. Can you just pick up the phone? We'll disconnect, but if you can call that phone number.
Now he's back. Now it's looking good. Now he's live with us. Now? Yeah, he's there. We got you, Eric. I think.
Do you hear us?
Oh, maybe not.
Oh
no. Got up early and everything.
I know.
Yeah, I like that.
That's right. You got me back now, guys.
Oh, there you are.
Perfect.
Tell NASCAR to pay the internet bill at Speedway, would you?
Oh, it's cutting out.
Cutting out.
All right, maybe he can give us a call, or Travis, if you want, just send him a message with
I'm gonna send him a message right now.
Phone number, and see if he can, if he can buzz in. Because so that makes sense. So you line up, you set up with Iowa Corn a multi-year commitment, and say, here's the deal. We don't know what the NASCAR schedule is going to be, but if NASCAR agrees, you guys are on board, right? He's absolutely right about the timing of this. I learned that when I was doing the tractor rides with WHO Radio. Like, summers are a good time for the corn growers. They've got a little bit of a respite there before harvest starts, so that's a perfect time for it. But yeah, Eric, now we got you back. Thanks a lot. I think we got enough of it to kind of get the gist of it. You've got a multi-year commitment from Iowa Corn. And that way, when you get that phone call from NASCAR that says, hey, you guys are on the schedule again, you've got those things in place and the ball can roll again. That explains it.
Yeah, I think it was best described as a Rubik's Cube as far as that schedule goes. And there's so much work being done in Daytona with our team, with the networks, with Fox, NBC, Amazon Prime, TNT. Now that we have more broadcast partners, it just adds that layer of complexity in there. And it really does need to work for every track on the schedule. And with if you saw the full list yesterday of that schedule announcement, it's going to be a phenomenal year as far as the season goes.
And you're coming off the Brickyard 400. If I saw that you're coming off the Brickyard 400, there's a week off, and then they come to Iowa, right?
Yeah, so there is a week off, which is a little bit different than 2025, but it gives them and I think that's just going to add a little bit more excitement, not only from the fan perspective, but from the drivers. The drivers get a little bit of a break before they head here to Iowa. And I will add to that, because I've been asked this question a lot, is the state fair, the Iowa State Fair, is back a week in 2026. So we're not competing with the start of the state fair, which, as we know in Iowa, is important.
So I had a question. When it comes to this, I know NASCAR wants to put out the great fan experience. Do they consult with drivers on the schedule and tracks they would like to go to? How much say do drivers have into this?
Yeah, I know, and I don't know exactly how much, but I do know that our NASCAR leadership team does work pretty closely with the teams as far as what they're looking for on the NASCAR Truck Series. It was also announced this week that O'Reilly Auto Parts is taking over for Xfinity, so it'll be the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series for that secondary series. So working with the drivers and the teams there, and then of course, obviously the Cup Series, making sure that there is buy-in from the teams and the drivers.
All right, we had a question that Travis and I both thought was an interesting question, but this came from one of our listeners, okay? And he was curious about kind of your job duties, where your job duties, where your allegiances kind of begin and end with NASCAR and then begin and end with the Iowa Speedway, because you do have an interesting job here. The track is owned by NASCAR, but you are a venue. And you've also got IndyCar and other series that come into play here. So can you kind of walk us through what the jurisdiction is, what your kind of where your allegiances lie, I guess is the right way to put it.
Yeah, that's whoever asked that question, that's a pretty insightful question. So so we are owned by NASCAR. I work obviously for NASCAR. So when we look at Iowa Speedway as a whole, looking through the year, the most important thing that we're doing is the NASCAR Cup Series race weekend. So everything is really catered and scheduled around that weekend. However, we do run the IndyCar Series, as you guys just mentioned, which is a really great event for us. And then we have a team here, our whole team is not only focused on, like we talked about with Craig Floss, being out in market throughout the year, but we're continuing to build on hosting more and more events at Iowa Speedway throughout the year. So as long as there's not a schedule conflict or anything that would prohibit the teams from coming out for tire testing or going to compromise the venue's integrity, we're hosting events here as often as possible when weather allows. So it's anything from a small 20 to 100 person Chamber of Commerce event that like one we have coming up to the tractor ride that you guys were talking about right when I pop back on. So we're continuing to build upon that. So really the allegiance is obviously the Cup race being very important, but we need to be a good ambassador for the France family, for NASCAR, and be out in market promoting this venue.
Do we know if IndyCar is coming back yet?
We're operating as if they are. So we have every intention to fulfill the contract that we have with them on coming back. So we just don't know what that schedule looks like right now.
How active are you in the promotion of that? Because I mean, let's be honest, the crowds were not great for IndyCar. Disappointing. But how active do you play a role working with IndyCar and helping promote that race as well?
Yeah, so that kind of goes back to that question that was just asked from the listener. So we are the venue for that event, and it seems like we would be part of a lot of promotion, but really IndyCar is the sole promoter of that event, right? So they're here, they use our facility, but they take on all ticket sales, they take on promotions. And while when we are actually physically out in market, and if someone asks me about, hey, what the IndyCar event, obviously I'm going to be promoting it because it's at our racetrack and we want to put on a good show. But as far as obligations from Iowa Speedway and NASCAR, we really allowed them to do the promotion. It's no different than if like the tractor ride is a great example, or any other event that we would be hosting at the facility. The promotion lies on the promoter.
Rosh, ask your Venn diagram. I forget how you did it, but you that was a good question that you had.
All right, Eric, because we're just curious about we were trying to dissect last hour kind of the IndyCar NASCAR dichotomy, right? And so we're wondering about that crossover of fans. And maybe this is information you guys have great information on. Maybe you kind of have to guess on it. How much crossover is there between the NASCAR fans and the IndyCar fans? Are they one big circle? Is there a little bit of a crossover? Do you notice? Do you guys have that information?
Yeah, we do. And I don't, there's not a huge crossover when it comes to the sports. I think people, generally if there's an IndyCar fan and a NASCAR fan, that's not a huge number. What I think I see more of is a venue supporter, or for example, fans of Iowa Speedway, using this example here at the racetrack. So what I've seen both anecdotally and then more broadly, is, hey, I'm coming out to Iowa Speedway for the year. Whatever is going on out there, I want to be there for IndyCar racing, for NASCAR racing. And I saw similar behaviors when I was at fan behaviors at Kansas when we raced IMSA, we raced Grand Am. This was several years ago, but you could really see folks that are coming out just to be a part of the venue because it might be their home track. We have a lot of folks that are coming here saying, hey, I want to support Iowa Speedway regardless of what's going on. So, but really to answer that is you've got an IndyCar fan, you have sprint car fan, or dirt track fan.
Yeah.
You have NASCAR fans, you have Formula One fans, and while there's a little bit of crossover, probably not as much as you'd think.
Even within dirt track fans, that like you said, sprint car
probably
fans.
Even more so.
Yeah, that's a very specific part of dirt track racing that there's not a lot of crossover from.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch those late models. I'm not watching late models. No way.
I can watch it all. I really do. I love late model. I've been down to the late model nationals. I can watch hobby stocks. Dude, I've watched the 6-cylinder compacts run around. That's fun.
And you're the fan that we love. So you come out for any type of racing, no matter what it is.
That makes sense.
We talked to the general manager of Knoxville earlier this week just to give him a heads up about, because there will be a little bit of a conflict like there was this year with our schedules going on the same time in August next year. But just like we did in 2025, the idea is to work together and really promote racing in Iowa. And so that we're not getting in the way of each other
I don't think either one of you had an attendance problem. I think Knoxville did pretty good.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Any other racing you could bring to the Iowa Speedway? I know you got testing and you want to do that. Are there any other race weekends you could do or is it just kind of limited to IndyCar and NASCAR?
Yeah, it's definitely not limited to that. We have some limitations because we used to have, or technically we kind of still have a road course in the center. But because we have filled out the entrances to those road courses with safer wall and safer barrier, crash wall and safer barrier, making it more safe for IndyCar and NASCAR, that does kind of, prevents a little bit of racing on that because now you don't have an entrance to turn 3, for example. It's all solid wall. However, we are looking at a couple different series, smaller series, like a weekly series almost, to be able to race at Iowa Speedway, looking at things like tractor pulls. I mean, it really, there's a broad scope of what we're looking at right now to bring in 2026. But I just don't know, given the size of the track and our focus on NASCAR, that it would be anything beyond that, if that makes sense.
Well, let's bring back the old 18-wheeler races.
Semi-trucks.
Semi-trucks out there.
Yes. I love that.
Did NASCAR, now that the race is over, you've done a full audit, so they're giving you, you're going to come back. Did they say, hey, we'd like to see this next year improved upon? Have they given you anything that they want you to change or improve at the track?
Yeah, so as I mentioned when we talked last, we do a GEM survey with our fans and stakeholders within the industry. So within our leadership team, right after our race, we're going to go through the results of those this coming Monday. We have all of that data finally compiled. So we'll start hearing a little bit more on some things that maybe I didn't see or we didn't see in some areas for improvement. I haven't heard anything that's too concerning yet, which is a really good sign. But hopefully we can just kind of dial in what we're already doing, focus on do we need to improve concession lines? Do we need to bring in more partners for food and beverage? Do we, this and in-field experiences and things like that. So we'll have a sense over the next probably month or two on what we can start working on for 2026.
Travis, something we should work on for 2026 is getting over and spending a little bit of time in that campground.
You think so?
Oh, dude,
Yes.
Look at Eric's face. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
You see that? We just spend a couple of hours some night back there on the backstretch in the campground.
Either that or we find a sponsor that wants to give us a camper for the weekend and we just go camp.
There you go.
See, I was trying to stay inside of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Are you?
Yeah, I like the idea. I think you guys load in on Thursday and you spend the entire weekend, load out. There were a few that left here on Monday pretty slowly. So they had a good time over the weekend, and we would encourage you all to do that.
See, the key would be, this is where I'm spoiled, and people are go, Jesus, Travis, we would need somebody to load in for us. I just show up with my bags, my Starlink, and our gear. We do our show there Thursday. We do it Friday.
This is what I was dealing with, Eric. See why I said we should show up for a few hours and then get out of there. See what I
see that, but a sponsorship from Atlantic and Fresca, and you can start piecing this thing together, and I feel like it'd be a pretty good experience.
See, Ross just shaking his head. Just
Not gonna
shaking
be
his
good.
head.
Not a good experience for me.
That's right.
You don't have to spend the night. I'll spend the night by myself. What could go wrong with me in a campground by myself?
In Newton on a racetrack in a community that you don't understand.
Right. Famous last words. I like it.
Eric, thanks a lot, man. Congratulations, first of all, I guess is what it does. You seem like you're in a good mood. I hope yesterday was a big home run of a day and you guys are feeling like the ball is rolling.
Yeah, I mean, we got the staff together. Obviously, we've been working on this for quite a bit, but being able to get the staff together in our industry and talk about this yesterday and how important this is. I mean, this is year 3 of Iowa Speedway, something that prior to 2024, we weren't cup racing here. So to be able to have a really successful first 2 years and carry that momentum it's really impactful both for me professionally and personally, and just to see the team here really excel and the fan support of I have to kind of balance this, but I was looking on social media just to see what the feedback was from fans, both good, bad, and ugly. And it's overwhelmingly positive. And, there's always going to be a couple negative things in there, but just to see the support from our fans, it really makes me feel good. So definitely appreciative of that. And that kind of momentum and that excitement, that lets us really brainstorm and want to put on an even better show for 2026.
I know we were going to let you go, but I got one more for you. So is it the type of year that do you have to hold your breath every year? You think NASCAR ever give you like a multi-year or guarantee, or is it going to be like, well, it's kind of like Chris Conley and Catch Des Moines when they wait for the NCAA tournament, they put in the bid and then they hold their breath and then it's either yes or no. I mean, is it going to be a kind of a wait for yes or no every year?
Yeah. So the NASCAR sanction agreements are always annual. So every single year we'll be going through this. So we're just going to make it extremely hard not to be racing at Iowa Speedway. That's what we always tell the staff is we're going to put on such a great show that, it's going to be almost impossible to take it away. But we'll continue working on that. And, even with the Talladegas and Daytonas, while we're confident those are always going to come back, of course, there's still annual sanction agreements. So who knows what the future holds.
Could you imagine if they released the schedule and they were like, so no Daytona this year?
Right. Probably wouldn't go over well.
No Talladega this year. We decided to. Good stuff. Eric, thanks for getting up early for us. We appreciate it. We'll be in touch, and we're glad you're so responsive and take our phone call. We do appreciate that.
Have a blast on here. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, buddy. Talk to you soon.
From the Iowa Speedway joining us. You don't think I'd fit in the campground?
I know you would. You're not understanding my concern here. I'm afraid you'd fit in too well. I would leave you.
No.
Right. I'd leave you for 45 minutes. Right. Somebody would be like, hey, Ross, let's go play bags. And I'd go play a game. I'd come back. You'd have pineapples hanging upside down in the camper. I'd be like, what the hell happened here? Mazur's right. My fear is that you would start a revolution and be a cult leader. That's my true fear is that they would meet you and go, we've found our king.
Why is Travis standing on a box preaching?
Yeah. You would love it. I'd said the same thing about the campground at the fairgrounds, which is the campground at the Speedway times 1,000. It's huge. The campground at the Speedway is more along the backstretch. It's a little bit more contained, but talk about a fun group of people, man. Retired, expendable income, there to have fun. This is their vacation. It's kind of like when you go to a resort and you're like, wow, why is everybody here so cool? Because everybody's on vacation. You go to that campground, I promise you'd feel it.
Our good friends over there at TV 13, Andy Fales and Keith Murphy, getting ready to do RVTV.
Yeah.
They get that's just a sponsorship deal. But to me, I think if we're going to go, we should just, go all in and get like a bus. Let's get like a tour bus. We can drive that.
This is how I go from, hey, we should just go over and spend a couple of hours, walk around. Travis like, what we should do? Get a tour bus.
Just an idea. Just throwing it out there. We got a year to work on it. Ken, Jeff, Brandon.
It'd be fun. The campgrounds are a good time.
Yeah. And the thing is, I've never really spent time in a campground my entire life. Ever. Ever.
Me neither.
What? Yeah. Whatever. You're getting ready to go camping again up at the lake.
And might be making another trip up to northern Wisconsin. My brother called me last night and said that my cousin wants us to come up and help build a bridge. So see if that.
When I think carpentry, I think you.
You should. Maintenance man. You should think of Snyder one day at a time.
Do you have a tool belt?
I don't have a tool belt. No.
You should see Owen's setup. It's absolutely, because he's a carpenter.
He's a true carpenter.
He is a true carpenter. And he's got the tool belt. He's got like the back suspenders. He's got this thing from Milwaukee that it's like he's got multiple layers. Like, so they unhook and stack so he can, but then he can connect them all together and it becomes like this 2-wheeler full of like tools. I'm like, dude,
that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. And he's like, don't touch it. He
Tools
goes, I have it
cool.
ordered. Don't touch it, Dad. I go, do you need help lifting it up? No, don't touch. Just stay away.
Even you talking about this, there's like a Tim Allen thing that's happening. Yeah. What's that? It's a conduit bender. Oh, what's it do? Bends conduit. Yeah, I need one.
Well, what I realized was because you have to have all your own tools and stuff. I go, you have a lot invested into your career here. I'm like, I didn't know you had all this stuff. Very, very. Yeah, Charlie just said it's the pack out. See,
Milwaukee
Charlie must be a carpenter or working the trades because.
See what Flag wrote?
It is.
Flag has a tool pouch that weighs 72 pounds. I would need help carrying that.
Flag saw me at the state fair. He came up and talked to me. Did you see Flag there at the?
Yeah, I did see Flag. You didn't get sucker punched?
I didn't get sucker punched.
Okay, because Dana was looking for you.
I didn't see Dana. Chris came up to me and
important, she didn't see you.
Okay. 515-517-2303. We'll take a break. Bruno is scheduled to join us when we come back on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Hi, I'm Josh Romick, Service Manager at Willis Lexus, and I want to take a moment to share our smoking hot deals we got going on for the month of August. Right now we got a 20% discount on brake pads and rotors, and also a 50% discount on alignments with the purchase of 4 new tires. That's a $90 value. And don't forget to ask about our Lexus Tire Price Match Guarantee. Give us a call to schedule or visit us online at willislexus.com. Thank you for watching and stay cool.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Every business has priorities, and Priority One Heating and Cooling is no different. As a service provider, we prioritize quality air conditioners and furnaces that will keep your home at your comfort level year-round. As a small business, we prioritize doing things the right way and treating people fairly. As a truly local business, we prioritize our community. As a veteran-owned business, we prioritize duty and commitment. For big business service with local value, trust your home to the place where you are always priority one.
Hey, it's Marion over at Land Rover of Des Moines. With all those summer miles and any last-minute road trips you have before school starts, come on down and get an alignment for $179.95 and $25 off an oil change. Give us a call or schedule online at LandRoverDesMoines.com.
Rush, strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. It's Thursday, and Thursday means it's Bruno time. Bruno time. He's standing by, live. Bruno.
Steel Toe Brewing. That's a new one. What am I missing there? What is that? Hi, buddy. How is you? Oh, no.
It's one of my they've been around, I think, since 2007 or something like that. But last time I was up, I went to a show, Mike Valley and the Rats, and hung out, watched the show, hit a few of my favorite breweries. And I love the Twin Cities, and the Steel Toe has been good. They used to have, they still do, they do a barrel-aged, Templeton Rye barrel-aged barley wine called Lunker. You know, that's a phrase for fish, right?
Yeah, it's a big fish. Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty cool. And then yeah, I went there, got the t-shirt finally. So
nice. Hey, Bruno, college football kicks off this weekend, and we don't talk a lot of sports with you besides soccer. But Truman's is gearing up for the Iowa State Kansas State game. You got a big tailgate coming up on Saturday morning at Truman's.
Yeah, I was half thinking I was going to go to that this year. Things didn't happen. It's been a busy year. It probably would have been a real tough one to fit in anyway. But yeah, exciting. Truman's is hosting a tailgate for the big game in Ireland. Should be a lot of fun. I don't have any details, but food's always good. We got TVs outside. We'll have the tailgate. We've got mixed drinks on draft, beers, and all sorts of stuff. We just, me and my crew that we ride bikes with, hit the Truman's for breakfast the other day. I see here we got the Cyclone Hurricane Cocktail, which is, I believe, is made with Captain Morgan. Samples of Captain Morgan Cyclone, Hurricane Cocktail. Corned beef and hash for breakfast as tribute to the Irish, the Ireland deal, and then lots of drink specials. I was right before I even found my notes.
Before I even knew I was right.
You're that smart, man.
Man.
Had lunch again at Fong's the other day, dude. It has quickly become like, I almost feel bad because I don't go to Lucky Horse as much. I don't go to library as much, but Fong's has become my spot. It's cheap. I say cheap. It's inexpensive.
It's affordable.
It's quick. It's really, really good, man. So I'm really happy with that Fong's down there. I hope it's been as big a success as I think it's been.
I believe it has been. It can be better. We're continuously working on it, but right now, it's all good, and it's only going to get better. It's been great to have moved. We're getting excited about the empire that's going in its place on 4th Street. But I want to say I've been thinking about you recently. I think about it every time. I kind of run this through my head, but we've been a value since day one. The Royal Mile opened, and every beer across the board, $3.75. Or maybe it's $3.50. I can't remember, but everything we offered was that price. You knew what you're going to get. Some of those were probably a little bit more expensive than they needed to be, and some were a little less expensive. But it was really simple, and this was the days of cash. When it was, it's hard to, as a bartender, it's easier to make change and stuff. If you can add it up in your head. Oh, 3 of those, you eventually learn how to multiply all those out. But it's always been that deal. We open up the High Life Lounge, $2.75 for a cheeseburger basket. Of course, that's not what it is now, but I can tell you it's a hell of a lot less than what I just saw. Big Mac's McDonald's is reeling back their pricing. They were doing a value meal for Big Macs recently. It was $18.
$18 for a Big
Bruno,
Mac?
Dude, I've made this comment to people before that I have had. Courtney and I have gone to Fong's for lunch, spent like $12 on a couple of slices of pizza and a dish, and then you can go get that garbage and spend more money. It's wild.
Well, and you can trust me or you can go, but I'm going to tell you right now, I have an aversion to high prices. I have an aversion to fancy places that charge that, you walk out and your bill is like $150 or $100 and you're still hungry. I like to go where there's a deal. My staff ends up raising prices higher than I would have done. I just don't like that. So there's a good counterbalance. We keep the prices low. The Empire is going to open up. Most of the drinks there are going to be $4 to $6. You can get, I think one of the best happy hour deals is you can get any drink, any cocktail at happy hour at Fong's, and you get a free slice of pizza. Now it's not as big as a normal slice, but you get a slice. So you kind of, it's a little bit of that Spanish tapas thing. You're getting a little food, the Euro thing, where you're getting a little food as you eat, but it's a great deal. And
well, it's like a lost leader, right? In meaning, okay, I'll give them a small piece of pizza, but you might continue to get hungry as you drink and go, oh, I'm going to order a whole pizza. I'm going to order something else. And when I go to Italy, and Ross, you experienced that in Portugal when you went to a bar, and you're like, oh, here's your chips, here's your whatever. You're like, do I got to pay for that? You're like, no, that's
sometimes it was odd. Sometimes you'd order a beer and they'd give you a bowl of peas.
Yeah. You're like, these peas are really salty. I better have another beer. No, I mean, there's a little bit to that, but there's also it's a right thing to do to not, have people just drink, for a bunch before they decide what they're going to do. And you're right, Travis, you get to the point where you're like, okay, you know what? I'll have one more because I'll have a slice, and then I'll order a pizza or some noodles to go or whatever for my family or for myself. It's akin to, I always loved the Poor Michael's, the driver slice you got. I always loved that. You went to go pick up a pizza at Michael's up in Beaverdale, and they give you a driver's. They're like, what do you want for your driver's slice? And you get like a single topping slice of pizza while you drive home, so you don't show up at home with a piece missing out of the box.
That's a smart idea. I'd never heard of a driver's slice.
I love these clever ideas that are a little thinking out of the box, because mostly everyone's just like, I have a friend, I won't name him, but he lives in Minnesota now, but he remembers hearing the last thing he ever heard was $2 dollar draws and $2 shots of tequila. He said that's the last thing I remember. He was on a party at Court Avenue downtown. He's from Ottumwa, and he woke up and he had a guy in the Polk County Jail look at him and go, "What's up with you? What do you want? Vanilla ice?" But that's the thing, is like there's no really good things. Like there's a place that used to be, of course, across from the Royal Mile that did $3 for 3 tall boys. They made no more than 60 cents. Like some of this stuff you can't just give the craziest deal in the world. But if you can walk in there, like at the Empire, it's going to be, say, a $4 drink. You get four $4 drinks, $1 tip each time. You walk out of there for 20. 20 is going out and having 4 drinks in today's world for $20, including tip, that's pretty good if you ask me.
100%. 100%.
And I'm not saying it's not Macallan 12 or it's not some kind of over the top. If you want that stuff, pay for it. And we offer that too, because I know people want it. I like it. I enjoy it. So you'll see those kinds of things too. But there's a majority, it's going to be hard to not find something you want in that 4 to 6 range. And we're going to do another thing where we do a beer. All the beers will be in 12-ounce glasses, $4 beer. But we'll offer if you want to Empire size it. So you get a PBR. It's like, would you like to Empire size it? Or the Old Tavern beer, you want to Empire size that? Sure. What does that mean? Well, $2 more and I'll give you another beer. So for $6, you get 24 ounces of beer. I've been working the spreadsheets till they smoked, so we can make this all work out.
I can just see you. I wish I understood Excel spreadsheets. I don't know how the formula works. I don't get that.
I put in the little formulas, and you put in $1 amount, and across the board everything changes. And then, of course, I'm also not that great at details and math, so maybe come down and take advantage of us while somebody else looks over the spreadsheet and figures it out. But
that's a great line. Get down now and take advantage of us before we fix our prices.
Before we get the spreadsheet from the owner and figure out what it's supposed to be. The thinking out of the box thing is something that I really appreciate this, and this might throw people for a loop here, but I got a story for y'all. There's a zoo in northern Denmark, has an unsettling request of pet owners. In Aalborg, Associated Press notes that they had a Facebook post. The zoo suggested, if you have an animal that has to leave here for various reasons, feel free to donate it to us. Not for a domestic pet display, mind you. The zoo is planning to gently euthanize the donated animals and feed them to the predators.
I knew where you were going. I knew it. I don't know how. I knew that's what you were going to say.
Zoo officials are trying to mimic the natural food chain, calling out specifically guinea pigs, rabbits, and chickens are preferred donations. That way, nothing goes to waste, and we ensure natural behavior, nutrition, and well-being for our predators.
All right, again. I'm so ignorant.
I was just thinking you go right to your dog or your cat, and I'm like, oh, but your pet chicken?
Thank you. That's when you went through that list, I'm like, wait, I thought if people raised chickens, they did it to have a chicken.
Well, at the end, your chickens are, they're not the best chickens to eat because they're kind of old and tough. It's kind of like a rooster. And here's the deal. Anybody that grew up on a farm is like, yeah, that makes sense. And everybody that grew up in the town like me or you guys, or I don't know, Travis, if you lived in big town your whole life, but I'm like, oh my God.
No, I lived in a town of 300 people.
Minden.
Yeah. So huge. But the smaller the town, or if you're from a farm, you're like, yeah, we did that shit all the time.
Wait, so I'm on the farm when your dog died, you fed it to the pigs?
No, No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the dog had a purpose, and it wasn't your pet. It was to bark when somebody came to your property. The cats were there to eat the mice. They all had a job on the farm, and when they died, they got another one. It wasn't like, you're not gonna take him over into the South 40, are you, Daddy? It's like, yeah, we are. Boom.
What he's saying is, farmers and farmers' wives didn't go, I'm a dog mom. I'm a dog dad.
You're right. Absolutely. I totally understand all of that. Yeah. I misunderstood.
Yeah, they're certainly never. They're like, that is still to this day a confusing sentiment for farmers. Like, you know your dad or a mom when you have a kid. What the hell are you talking about? And that's why you don't name your cattle or your sheep.
Yeah, right.
You don't want to grow an attachment, right?
Well, listen, we just got done with the state fair, man. You go down and watch some of those 4-H kids, and they get it. They are like stone cold killers. I mean, in a way, they're like, so what did you do with it? What did you do with it? It's like, oh, we had it for dinner. Yeah.
that was on the we saved that turkey. That turkey was Thanksgiving last year. It was delicious. And you're like, you're horrible. And it's like, no, that's how this works. But they also, I helped butcher chickens. I was the kid playing. I had the pieces of intestine and I was putting it in. They had water running.
Butchering chickens is the worst.
Oh my God!
Did you dunk them in the steaming hot water before you decutted them?
That's a real good smell, isn't it? But I used to hang with my grandfather. He's the one that dispatched them. And that was fun. It was fun to watch the chickens blink their eyes while their head is not attached to their body. Or they really do. They run around with no head. It was wild. As
with the blood squirting, you cut the head off, and then the blood's squirting out, and the chicken's running around until it just boom.
Yeah, and if the
Ross,
chicken
you missed a lot growing up.
I didn't get any of this in Pleasant Hill.
If the chicken flinched and Grandpa didn't get through the axe completely, they still had a little bit of neck left to him. He just put his foot on the head and just ripping him off. I'm like, I mean, it's horrible, but how do you think you get it? I mean, yeah, there's probably more humane, but when you're the farmer and you like, how are you going to do this? It's not like, there's not like, how are we going to gently euthanize these so that we can start butchering? I mean, you can't poison your food, you know, so it's what you do. And yeah, and then we took those old, remember how milk still comes in those cartons, the biggest carton you can get? They'd save those through the year, and then they'd put the whole chicken in there, fill it with water, and freeze it. And so you'd have a whole chicken in
an ice block.
And, you know, I don't know. It's what we did. It's what they did. My grandmother used to have this bucket of this big barrel, and they'd butcher a hog, and they'd fill the top with lard, and it would just sit there. And then they said that you plunge your hand through the lard to pick out pieces of meat that you're going to cook that night. That's how they stored it, because no refrigeration. I mean, it's just.
Ross, I can't tell if you're going to puke or if you're just.
I'm acknowledging. I'm taking it all in right now.
Yeah, that's like that's why that, you know, they process those pigs and all that stuff. Yeah, you know, got everything but the squeal out of them.
Let me tell you, folks, about
from rooter to tutor. Yeah. And speaking of Minnesota, I wanted to mention we have on Friday Black Stack's going to be in town. I don't know if anyone's ever gone to Black Stack in the Twin Cities, but it's fun. If you're ever in the Twin Cities, you got kids, you want to have a good time, young kids, teenagers. Next door is an indoor arcade with putting, like a putt course, indoor arcade, and then next door for the adults or whatever, Black Stack, great brewery. It's a really fun place to go, but the beer is amazing. John Martin at Confluence brings it in for us, and we're having a party with them this Friday, the Octobox, and that's gonna be a good time. That's right before it kicks off. One thing that's not in the notes today is I am emceeing. I was asked to MC at XBK for the Guilty Pleasures this Friday.
Who's the Guilty Pleasures?
So the Guilty Pleasures, a few of the members from the Rathbones, if you remember the Rathbones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brian Holteen, the bassist, and Barry Jones, the drummer, the percussionist. They're in the band. And then our friend Charles is the guitarist, the newest addition. So going to be a good time. I've been their friends for a long time. The Rathbones were inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just recently in the last few years. It's a good time. They do this. They do covers, but they do this thing where they meld. They weave songs. You know, you're like, hey, you know, when you're listening to a song, you're like, that sounds a lot like another song. Well, they do that, but then they weave them together and do both the songs. It's really fun. They're really great. They have a great attendance. I'm going to be there handing out free stuff from our places.
When is that, Bruno? I'm sorry.
This Friday. Friday. I'm going to be giving away free Old Tavern beer tomorrow night. I'm going to be handing out some cans of beer. They're going to have Old Tavern on sale. We're going to give out stuff from Lucky Horse and the bait shop. I'm trying to get the Black Stack guys to come over. They might have some swag to hand out. But if not, you want to pregame and you're going to do this, you know, go to XBK. If you haven't been to XBK, it's fantastic.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because especially it's going around a lot of like venues that just focus on live music are closing up across the country.
Really?
Because, yeah, I mean, live music's hard. You know, the problem is, you know, you have so many great artists out there that have really good original music. The problem with original music is until it gets popular, it's hard to listen to, right? I mean, or you just don't know some of the songs, and some of these established old music venues are closing up. XBK seats about 300? Does it go 300?
250-ish, 250.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But you gotta know some things. Like it's like everything. I thought you were gonna say breweries are closing because we were talking about that, but there are breweries closing. There are restaurants closing, and we've talked about this before. You got to be good at business before you do anything. That's where you got to focus. And everyone that's focusing on business first or has the chops on the front end, you know, I talk about me and the goofy running an Excel spreadsheet, but I do kind of have an idea how to run a business. But what I also know is I don't know everything, and I have people that I talk to. Well, Toby that owns XBK is somebody I talk to. She's actually looking at maybe possibly opening another one that's been out in the papers. And the thing about her is she's a lawyer for Sony Records. She has an insight and a collection of people she taps on. She knows she has a friend up in the Twin Cities. They have 6 locations, and one you may have heard of, the First Avenue up in the Twin Cities. This person does, and they're opening up an outdoor amphitheater. So she has friends in the industry and knows who to talk to and knows what bands, and she has this kind of idea. So she's doing a great job. But then there's other ones, you're right. Well, the thing with the older venues is it might be older management that just the kind of times that pass them by, or they want to just kind of be done too, So there's a restructure across the business world right now where people are having to get tighten stuff up and figure it out. I'm sure construction's that way. Housing's that way.
Speaking of construction, man, the area in front of Fong's, do you get much updates on what completion looks like on that? I again, you can get in and out of the parking lot with no problem, but there is construction out there in front of the restaurant.
Our section of the block is completely done, but they are keeping up the Jersey barriers at the railroad crossing. There are some work they're doing south of that, but it's hard to say because the stuff just never I just went past Roosevelt and they're fixing the streets right across the street, and my daughter said they're going to be fixing the student parking during school this year. There's always something. But here's the deal. I'd rather live in a town that's always doing something and working on things than a town that they just let everything go, right? And the crazy thing is, and there's a shirt at Ray Gun. It's talks about it's Fleur Avenue. It's like, be like Fleur, always working on yourself.
Always work on improving yourself like Fleur Drive.
Never giving up. Because guess what? Fleur Drive is down to 2 lanes, one going north and one going south again. I mean, I don't get it. It's great. They're always doing something, but you'd think maybe just don't do anything for a little bit.
I'll tell you, Bruno,
and do it. But I know things change.
The Fleur Drive thing drives East Siders bonkers. Here's why. I mean, and I'll tell you exactly why. Next time, we just all got done with the fair. The next time that you drive from the freeway on University East towards Pleasant Hill, look at the condition of East University. The median is collapsing.
Oh, it's
crumbling.
That thing is one of the busiest streets in
and it has needed a beautification for 30 years, and they do nothing. They go in and do little patchworks on the east side, but by the airport, where people actually we need people to think Des Moines is a beautiful town. Well, so we're going to constantly work on Fleur.
You go to the fair 11 days a year. You go to the airport 365. So there is something to that.
Yeah, but there is also something to. We just had 1 million Iowans show up at the Iowa State Fair, right? But and the city constantly spends the money to show people how beautiful Des Moines is by the airport, but then they let the east side fall apart like that. It drives east siders crazy.
Well, you know what you need to do is you need to get your east side folks together and elect a mayor from the east side.
Mayor Connie Bozen, we're looking at you.
Well, and I would say this, it's not exactly this, but it is similar. Maybe, around my neighborhood, we complained we didn't have curbs. They were like completely gone. You know how it goes over years, they just disintegrate. And we complained, and guess what? We have new curbs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe there's something to that. Maybe the East Siders need to, have a project, say, University Avenue and the fair, and get together. And it's like, you would think the fair has some pull and would like to see some of that stuff fixed up. So, and
I have an idea. It would be super cheap. Well, and you could get all of the destruction is very easy. You just have to tell the crackheads there's copper under those medians. Those medians be gone in a day, dude.
There's copper in them there.
There's copper in them there.
We're not going to pay you an hourly wage. You can take all the scrap you want.
Yeah, that could work.
And where I've got ideas.
Because he's an idea man.
He is an idea man. Few other ideas for your going out for your weekend. We talked about the Octobox. We've got the Tackle Box with Fair State, another Minneapolis brewery, a brewing cooperative. A bunch of people got together and bought shares of a brewery, and they've always had pretty good beer. Actually, they've had really great beer. I would suggest going down there. If you haven't signed up for the Bras for the Cause as a bike ride, Starts at Captain Roy's, heads to Truman's, El Bait Shop, among others, and then I believe it might even end up back at Roy's. You can go to Eventbrite for Bras for the Cause. I believe that is for breast cancer awareness.
That makes sense.
And then missing the state fair, as we just talked about, there's still state fair inspired foods at the Iowa Tap Room and Fong's and Truman's. So get on out. And Oscar Wilde night. Sign up for Oscar Wilde. Oh, here's one. Oscar Wilde's 15th of October Royal Mile. That's going to be coming up. So remember to save the date for October 15th. But
help us again. What's Oscar Wilde night, Bruno? I know you've explained this to me,
it's just we do a Robbie Burns night, which is the kind of the poet of the national poet for Scotland. Oscar Wilde is a writer, of course, from England, from Great Britain, and we just do a night of kind of his literature and talk about it. It's just a kind of a fun thing. The Robbie Burns does so well. We added Oscar Wilde. But one thing that she didn't have on the list is September 10th. Save the date. Free to get in. Old Tavern's going to be a part of this because they were a part of this. It's a reprise. We're going to redo and rehab the historical happy hour at the Royal Mile.
Oh, very cool. September
10th. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that one. We're going to have that one. And we're going to also have people come over to the Empire. It should be open by then to check out the new place. I know I keep just bleeding things out, but the Empire is coming and I'll have more information. I want to do a press release soon. And when I do that, I'll talk fully about that on one of the next few times we come together here. But the Empire is going to be great. The Old Tavern beer is amazing. As just with John, he had a big stack of cans at his place at Confluence. People are loving it. Price is right. Taste is great. Made by a farmer here. We get all the flake corn, or they get all the flake corn here in Iowa from a farmer out in eastern Iowa. And it's really neat. Really great story. Really great beer. You can have all the flash, all the advertisement, all the other stuff, but if it's not good, it's not good. This is good. It's a great price. So get out there and get some Old Tavern. September 10th, we'll talk a little bit more about the story.
That'll be
of Old
fun.
Tavern. So
good stuff, Bruno. All right, buddy. Have a good weekend.
You too. Take care, guys.
Yep. Bruno joined us. Of course, Bruno joins us every Thursday. We want you to have a great Thursday. Lots of stuff coming up. I want to thank Eric Peterson from the Iowa Speedway for joining. He emailed Ross and I shouldn't put the private stuff out there, but I will. He goes, I love doing your show. He goes,
thanks.
He goes, I have so much fun doing your show. And he used the word, he goes, it's so authentic. Thank you.
That's a good word. That's something without trying, we're striving for it.
Tomorrow we'll talk a lot about the Iowa State Kansas State game coming up. Don't forget to get to Truman's on Saturday for that Cyclone Tailgate and watch the game down there as well. Have a great Thursday and go check out the show if you missed any part of it at therushladio.com. It's the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
It's Body Armor. Real hydration with electrolytes. No artificial dyes and coconut water. Choose better. Body Armor.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on therushladio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Hey,
Hey, it's Marion with Willis Volvo Cars. With all those miles you put on your car over the summer and any last-minute road trips you have before school starts, your car might be ready for maintenance. Come on down to get an alignment for $179.95 and $25 off an oil change. Give us a call or schedule online at willisvolvocars.com.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience Links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.